This is going to be a horror story. It's going to start off calm, then take you unawares. So grab your blankie, let's begin. This is a horror story on how I found out that my best friend's kids belonged to the other realm. This is the continuation of the introduction I did last week. Apologies for the delay. Her husband wasn't with her in Nigeria. She was an event planner, and the children were already used to me as a single lady. So I really had no issues having them over most weekends, especially the fact that I would normally work from home. Now, this best friend of mine had 3 children under the age of 5. She would normally leave them at my place. I took them as mine. Now, I noticed that recently, one of the kids would stay at a distance, far a bit from the others playing, and he would stare to nothing. So I noticed this cold, all of a sudden behavior, and I went to him. Initially, I bent towards him and I told him, Gozie, what is wrong? Are you okay? He said, Auntie Kamsi, Uncle Lisa doesn't like to play with me. He likes to play with my sisters and the others. Now, at that moment, I kid you not when I say, a cold feeling ran through my body. It was obvious he wasn't making it up. All of a sudden, the entire atmosphere changed, and I knew whatever he was talking about got aware that I had a little knowledge about it or them. Now, a little backstory on me. I am into everything paranormal, but I would never go looking for them. So it wasn't a new thing that I had noticed a bit that something was out of the ordinary with the children. But due to the fact they weren't mine, I just didn't want to poke further. I noticed we were not alone. And I looked towards the girls. The 2 girls, remember I said there were 3 children. I noticed how focused they were playing. I got a little bit uncomfortable and I told them to come inside so they can eat the food their mom left for them. They had the food and then they went straight to have their nap. This one event is the highlight of the story. Now I fell into a deep sleep and in a place that looked exactly like the room I was in. I saw a battalion of children as though packed and as though my room had become bigger but identical. Now the children were all about their fun and merry. Then I saw a man. Now, not just that man, but this particular one caught my attention because he had the head of a lizard. Some other people that had the normal head, but that of the eyes of an owl on a human head, were sharing something that looked like biscuits randomly to the children as though they knew when exactly they were hungry. I looked. No one saw me except the lizard man. So baby Gozie called or referred to him as the lizard man. Everything looked and felt real, as though it was happening at that particular time. Now, when I looked towards the bed, their bodies were on the bed, but their spirit man was present in that union, that merriment they were having. I got up, and by the time I looked around to see if they were still there, the last one had peed on herself. Now, this my best friend came back from her work that day and picked them. She picked them, and while they were going, a part of me wanted to tell her what was wrong. But the only thing that came out from my mind was, bye. They said, Auntie, bye. And then I said to their mom, don't forget to pray for them and anoint their heads this night. That was all. Then she said, oh, she does it on a regular. That was not enough. The next weekend again, she brought them over to my place. So we had to form this habit of renouncing any gathering that they were in subconsciously. Now, they would all stay with me and we would hold hands and they would recite something that would counter the normal living of their body they would do. Now, I didn't do this with the permission of their mom, but I was very sure their mom wasn't aware of what was happening. This wasn't the first case I was handling, but the fact that I saw them as mine made me want to at least help them. Now, within the first month, I realized that baby boy, Gozie, started to play with his sisters and became more lively. Then one day I came back from work when it felt as though everything was cool. In my sleep that evening, the lizard man came to me. He stood in front of me and he said, "Why do you want to take my children away from me? The next time you intrude, you would lose your sight." I woke up and the taps in my house were left on, as though with the motive of getting a lot of my things ruined. And that was a clear warning, but I didn't back down. The rest of the story withheld. We later discovered that the person who initiated them into that particular gathering was their teacher in school.